9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. Liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Roger, Tower.
Welcome to the Alien Probe Podcast. It is Saturday, October 26, 2024. A new whistleblower has come forward with a written report that this person has shared with some members of Congress and with me, Michael Schellenberger, and the report is quite extraordinary. It says that there is an unacknowledged special access program called Immaculate Constellation, not Immaculate Conception, which is the parent program, is the language used for UAP crash retrieval, reverse engineering, and apparently a very large database of high-quality photographs, videos, infrared videos, apparently much more sophisticated documentation of many more UAP encounters that have released so far. The article is really about the allegation that this program exists and that it has been withheld from Congress illegally. Welcome, Matt, once again. Thanks for joining me. And to further elaborate on the subject, we're going to play, we're going to do a podcast about a podcast with Debbie Hayes when we do this.
We do that well. We've done that before.
So unoriginal.
We've done that before.
So unoriginal. But we will pimp it. It's Weaponized. We'll do it on Weaponized.
Yes.
Our friends,
yes.
Jeremy Corbell.
They're a great show.
George Knapp.
Pay attention to them.
And yeah, it's a great, Weaponized is okay. We do make fun of them, but it is pretty good stuff.
Yeah, we're just being,
So we're going to kind of play it, and then we're going to chat about what they talk about. All right, let's see what we got.
In this week's episode of Weaponized,
let's say there's a document that has been referenced in some reports.
Michael Schellenberger has said there's a 20-something page document.
Let's say there's a document.
Let's be honest with our audience. You have been exposed to the entirety of the document. Is that correct?
All right. Yeah, I've seen it.
From the very
Let's get real, Jeremy. What do you got? And we have to pay attention to how dramatic Jeremy is.
It's so dramatic.
You know, we love George Knapp. And, you know, of course, George Knapp's pretty important because...
Yeah, he's done a lot.
You know, he actually is responsible for bringing out the shill Bob Lazar.
Stop it. We're going to go back to this.
I just had to throw that in there.
get-go, we have been in the know that we have been trying to exploit derivative technologies of UAP. Is that factual from where you're sitting?
Yeah.
Okay. I am directly aware of the totality of this report and information being in person given to certain members. I'm not saying of Congress or Senate, certain members, and that I was present.
Now that it's out, how can it possibly, how can anyone hope to quash the story?
Okay,
I'm glad the music's
That
off.
thing's got hella dramatic.
People are turning their show off.
We should be doing that.
That's where it was
risk and
leading.
threat.
Just music dramatics that cut.
You are asking me, and I'm sorry, I feel like a robot right now, but I just...
Okay,
I
Jeremy,
have been on...
why do you feel like a robot? You look like a robot right now. Matt, why does he feel like a robot?
Because he is a robot. We said it here first. Jeremy's a robot.
Look, you can see him right there.
Yep. I think I see gears and like little, he's a robot.
How's this thing work? Okay.
Guard?
This is our insurance policy right here.
Okay. I've been notified of very specific and direct and detailed threats against my life as well.
Okay, first of all, you guys aren't that important in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
I mean, you know, they're like we talked about in the beginning. They're sensationalizing the subject.
It's
and a lot of
sensationalized.
So, you know, and we get this. I don't want to say we're just not monetized. So it doesn't matter what we say or who we make fun of.
Right.
Or, you know, pimp whatever show that
we know we don't matter, but we're still going to say it.
But we got to talk about
That's right.
the drama of it all. They're just, we'll go ahead.
Well, as against anybody who may have information, assets, or contact with additional whistleblowers or individuals who are aware of this program. So much so that I have taken action through law enforcement.
Do you have in place what you
Wait.
Okay.
Can we pause it? What is it? Did he
So
he called the
he
cops?
was threatened. So he got threatened.
All right.
And so he called the police. I'm guessing because they never. I've
Yeah.
listened to this whole thing a couple of times. He hasn't really.
Very sparsely.
Yeah, so they're doing it because they stopped their. They stopped doing weapons. They didn't really stop doing it. They didn't do too many.
No, he said, "Oh, we're only going to do 51, and then whatever else happens, basically."
Yeah, and it's fine, but it's the because we're so important, and they do have a lot of. I mean, they do have a lot of
viewers.
and
I'm a viewer.
Yeah, I am too. I listen to it. It's not that I hate the show. I just don't like. I've got a friend that I've been talking to pretty regularly, and just got into the subject.
Right.
He says I sent this to him because he's just getting into the. He was in the military and he was in intelligence and stuff.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
And he knows about these things, and he goes, they don't. What he says, and I can't obviously mention his name, but he says nobody cares about these guys.
Right.
They're not gonna. He goes, the government isn't gonna kill them.
No, because they don't care.
It's like they would draw more attention to. It would be worse for them to try to do something. He goes, and what's that going to cost?
I think it might be somebody who's just fucking and whacked or playing a game with them to freak them out, so that they actually make a show about.
Yeah,
that.
but so maybe somebody did threaten them or whatever.
Send them an email or some shit or whatever. I don't know.
You might call it dead switch, a system whereby information about this and other matters that we've collected over the years would be disseminated if something were to happen.
Okay, I will not mince words. We have had in place for quite some time, unrelated to this story of Immaculate Constellation, that if you or I are removed from the equation, that you have absolutely...
Now they said... Go ahead.
He said before any of this even started, they've been in place to have these things that will be released, basically. So,
but what are they doing? Okay, you've listened to every episode, right? What is it that they're doing that they should feel like that they're threatened, that their lives are threatened? They have this information, which they're no better than any. They're worse because they're not. They act like that they're all for disclosure, and
I don't think.
By the way, what does disclosure mean to you?
So I've had this conversation before. I think it's already been disclosure. I think what you're looking for is confirmation. Disclosure is the government saying there's things out there we don't know what they are, and they're definitely not, Russia or China or anything else. It's not things that we know what they are. So there's basically stuff out there we have no. I think that's disclosure. Is it hard, evidence? Is disclosure? No. I think we're looking for confirmation.
We're supposed to be. On November 13th, there was another Senate. Then I heard there's rumblings on X that those are going to be postponed. Did you
really?
Hear that? Yeah, but I don't know. That could be some clown just saying that. I haven't heard anything else about it, but they said that and in fact, Immaculate Constellation is supposed to be. I don't know if that particular whistleblower, and it isn't just one guy. And you'll hear here later. There's a guy, and then there's a lot of people confirming the story.
I've heard it could even be a woman too.
Yeah, it could be a woman. It could be. Yeah, it could. We don't know.
Yeah, it's not me.
It's not me either.
Yeah. You sure?
Uncontrolled, catastrophic disclosure of information that would be dangerous to the United States of America. That would be dangerous to global policy. That would be dangerous in many ways. And
why are they so important that they have this? There's nothing you've told me. Not told me. You've nothing that you've presented on the show
To me, this would make you a target for now to be investigated by like the FBI or Homeland Security. I don't think right. I think that I think this is a what would you say? Sensationalized. That's what I think this is. I don't
for the
think
sake of the show, and they're sponsored,
exactly.
They're monetized and sponsored.
It's hard for me to. I agree. It's hard for me to believe they're sitting on something so volatile that it can, do all this damage. That if they're, I don't believe that.
And again, this is a weapon. If you guys don't want to listen to our bullshit, it's Weaponized episode 60. It's free on YouTube or I'm sure Spotify or whatever.
Yeah,
so if you're tired of us stopping it and talking about it, I get it.
Go back and watch it.
It's what we do
That's
for ourselves.
That's a thing.
We're not here for the public.
Right. Well, we are, but
we are. We don't fight. Yeah, we are, but we're not here to make anybody happy. I'm sure there'll be a comment to that effect at some point.
I'm trying not to laugh too loud.
Don't laugh too loud because Matt got it. I got something on YouTube that Matt laughs too loud. I'm not funny. I don't know.
I try to get a gag.
It benefits everybody to not fuck with journalists doing their job and sanitizing information prior to the good of public knowledge with no harm to the United States of America, putting it out.
This is a message to somebody. I think it's a message to somebody, and we don't know what the actual thing was. It seems like he's specifically talking to somebody, a group, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
Has the beard gotten bigger? The beard has gotten bigger, huh?
I dig into news stories.
I need to start growing my beard out.
Or won't.
I'm Jeremy Corbell, and for some...
We don't need to do there. No. Anyway.
Is that Lazar? Is that your buddy? Did
we just jumped to news names.
Bear with us, folks.
I need a producer.
Interest in UAPs because a lot of folks.
I need a Jeremy.
We'll pay in beer.
When's the hearing? Why was it delayed? What's going on? And heck, there's a lot going on in the world for members of Congress who've been sort of driving this train. The people that we have talked to before. You were back there in Congress a couple of weeks ago, and were in the offices of the people who are directly involved in this. What was the reason for the delay of the hearing into November?
I just want to be a little bit careful. What was the reason for the delay in the hearing? I think common sense. I think that there's a lot going on in the world. I think very quickly people realized, wait a second, we have a real opportunity. We've been given information, whether it be new or just a discovery as if it was new. And I know you've... So what I think is, common sense said, with the state of the world and everything that's going on, and with this information, we have a chance to do this a little better, just give it a little bit more time. And I think that was the core reason. And also, we want to make sure that everybody's available at the times to testify.
What's that?
Did the ship move? I felt like the ship moved a little bit.
What's that?
The ship. The ship when we're on.
I'm going to be really honest. I have to be very cautious with my words right now. And not about the hearings. And you know why.
Yeah.
And so I just, sorry for that candor, but that is the reason. I think that minds decided it was good to take serious what we're doing.
I think it's fortuitous that they put it off until after the election. Every member of the House is up for re-election.
Yeah.
A third of the members of the...
What does it matter? Why do they have, you know what I mean?
I think the election is going to push everything away, or at least, I don't know. Maybe it won't. I think it's yeah. And what if we have problems with this election? You think that this is going to matter?
Yeah, I don't know, but it kind of makes sense. But it's kind of a reset. It's like you do all this stuff with all these people, all these different people get elected. I think I understand what they're trying to say, but it's just get on with it.
Right.
Senate are up for re-election. They're worried about who's going to be president. There's a lot to focus on. In addition, I mean, the real world got involved this past week, the past 2 weeks, with hurricanes, and you look at the key members in the House who've been driving this UFO, UAP train, Representative Luna,
Yeah.
Gates,
Yes.
Moskowitz,
Yes.
Burchett,
Yes.
all of their districts got pummeled by Hurricane Helene, and now by the latest hurricane as well. So they've got a lot on their plates.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, my bid to move to Florida has been squashed.
Has it it's like,
When you see the hurricane encompassing the entire state, you know, it's like, okay.
yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah, I had a coworker goes, yeah, we were considering moving for it too. The whole state.
Well, you can get, well, even before this happened, you know, housing prices are like 2/3 about, you get a lot of house for $400,000.
Right.
And so I thought, oh, that'd be pretty cool. We could move out there or get a vacation home or something.
Just get a home insurance.
But it's like quadrupled now.
Right? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, home insurance is
Yeah.
very, well, that's what they, you know,
Yeah.
I haven't really looked at it specifically, but that.
No, you're right. Because
You know.
we were running into house problems for insurance.
By the way, you heard about the Joe Rogan, President Trump.
I did. Right.
What the hell's that?
I don't know. I keep hearing that too.
A UFO or what?
I think that's the garage door.
I-
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. If it
I'll
takes
have
a
to thank
hurricane
Debbie
to
for
slow
turning that on.
it down a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the world. I hear about it from other people like you, and I do understand. So I think that it's fortuitous. Like, I think it's really good. Everybody's kind of like slowing down. November 13th is the date.
That's the thing. Is it November 13th?
Yeah, I put that in my phone too because I knew about it.
Yeah.
It
So,
is the 13th. Yep, right there. Oh no, I guess are we sure?
yeah, it was. That's what it was. By the way, we got a new dog. In case everybody, we didn't really get a new dog. We're fostering a new dog.
You guys are angels for doing
Or
that.
we picked him up he was going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
And we picked him up. He's a puppy, and you can hear him right now. And I have to thank Debbie for leaving
Yeah, right.
in here while she's.
Is he at the door?
I don't know if he's at the door or what he's doing,
She
but
bolted.
then Debbie and I did the podcast with
What,
the other day
Pretzel?
and well, Pretzel wasn't here yet when
Okay.
we did it, but you know, it was like there was another Max's friend Piper the Pitbull was here.
Oh, Piper. Yeah, I love
Piper the Pitbull was here, and they have
She's
2,000
adorable.
square feet of house, and they were right under our feet.
There's
know.
no other part of the house right here.
So I don't
We're
know.
gonna be right here.
Here we go.
Of the upcoming UFO hearing, it would take a lot to change that, but also people need to be protected before that.
You know, the public demands. We see it every day on social media. Well, you don't because you're not there. But
I am. I want to be clear. I am there. People text me the gnarliest shit every day.
Yeah.
I say, Jeremy, did you see this?
Yeah.
Like friends and family, and I'm not.
I was kidding.
I know, but I want people to know I do care what people say. I do listen to what people say online. I just don't seek out trauma.
You don't engage with it
Trauma.
necessarily back and forth.
Yeah, if you look up how many times I've said other people's name in vain, anybody, it'll be 0.
I mean about the nature of engagement with the public, the UFO public on social media. They're angry, they're upset, they're impatient. We want this, that, we want this witness.
But again, what are we asking for with disclosure? We want to put your hand. I always thought, okay, they've already kind of admitted through. Did you read Imminent?
Yes, that was a great book. Yes. Yep.
They were already, and then
Yes.
you know, Elizondo has admitted. Yes, the government has said basically that Roswell really happened.
Right. Yep.
Okay, is that enough disclosure for you? The fact, yeah, we okay, well, where's all the stuff?
Yeah.
If is it at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base?
People are just going to
or
take words. They're going to
where's the NHI bodies?
Right.
Did
They're
they
going to want you to show it.
You know, well, just okay, come out. But it's like, can you imagine the president coming out and just saying,
By the way,
you know, and just marching a little green man,
Yep.
I guess, out on
and
the
here we
stage.
go, the ships
You know,
and people.
Here's the Eben.
Yep. And
Here's the ship. Here's what they look like. Here's
The
a bunch of
NHI.
pictures. You know, but they say that they don't. You know, the whole thing is the government. They don't want the government to. For the UFO community, you've heard this a million times and you've thought it. They just don't want. We're patriots. We don't want a foreign our adversaries to get this technology.
Yeah.
You know,
But
so
they probably already have it. I mean, Russia's bigger than we are. They've collected so much crap. China, I think they already have. But figuring it out,
did they
that's
just come here?
no.
As fast as
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
fly.
We're like they only showed up in America. They didn't go anywhere else.
Did they just come to? Did they just come to like California and stuff?
Well, we got a gym boys,
We
so
we
they
got
should
the-
come down to here. We've got gym boys.
I don't know. It's funny. We watched the Trump, and we're not going to get political on this because I'll get.
You're gonna
there's
get
a lot
really
of
gonna get in
liberals.
trouble.
Yeah, I'll get skewered by the liberals. But you know, it was just kind of funny because what does he call? Did you listen to it? What,
Which one? The Trump one?
yeah, and he
I didn't get
called
to get all through.
our illustrious governor.
Oh
new,
no!
He calls him new scum.
This guy. I
And
didn't.
he's like referring to Governor New Scum.
I only got through about 10 minutes because, as you said, I didn't even know about it till you sent it to me this morning.
He could care less, you know.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
And we're kind of a divided house here, and so we probably shouldn't talk about our political.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, it's.
I didn't know it was a divided house here.
No, it's
Oh.
a divided house. So when you come in here, you're not to talk.
I
About
don't know what you're doing.
Dr. Bill came in here,
Oh,
who was when he was around
Right.
a huge Trump fan,
Oh,
and
shit.
he made the mistake
Saying it in front of-
of coming in here and talking about all the things that he was happy about Trump doing.
Oh, boy. Oh,
And
boy.
Debbie got so upset with it that she had to march into the backyard. She left the area, and I just looked at him and I go, how'd that work out for you?
No, you guys are lucky I hate politics, so I won't be
I don't
talking
really
about
want to talk about it.
it. Or religion. I don't do politics
Well,
or
that's
religion.
what my father always
None of
told
that.
me. Don't talk about
Right.
politics, religion, or what was the other one?
People get emotional.
There was another one. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Now that we got off track,
We're good, man.
just had to mention that. It was kind of a fun. The interview was kind of a fun. It wasn't an interview. It was just a discussion. And if you look at all the comments, I don't know, it's like, oh, he's a Trump fan. If you look at all the comments that are on it, there's a lot of people from out of the country are like, wishing America luck, which we need to.
Is that
We
what
need all
you
the
said?
luck we can get
Yeah, in any
with
any president.
Yeah, I know. We're not going to do a political discussion. I'll get roasted.
Yeah, we're waiting.
And it's not that important. I mean, it's like I don't like Stan. I'm a Trump fan. It's like I don't know what to do this year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and you're in California. It doesn't matter what you vote for.
Yeah, I know.
Your vote don't
It
count.
doesn't matter. It doesn't.
This is the kind of information we want, and they're not going to settle for anything less. You've been speaking with congressional members and with congressional staff about the nature of the hearings. Do you think that the public will be satisfied with what they end up with in terms of witnesses?
I don't know specifically what the public is saying on X, but keep it up, X, keep it up. Put pressure on. I don't know what people are saying. I would
UFO
say
X.
I am
Yeah,
not
they're
aiming
vicious.
at satisfying anybody
They get
other
shit
than I
done.
am aiming to do my duty to make sure that people testify who need to be heard from.
A two-word program popped up in the international media in the past couple
So
of
here we
days.
go.
And
Look at his
there's a
little
lot of
face. He's all
speculation about who knew what and
giddy.
when.
It's like,
Can you walk us through
Look at
how
this
far back
drama.
you heard about the nature of that program, how far back you heard the name of that program, and how legit the information is, in particular, this one whistleblower has been mentioned?
The short answer is fuck no. But I will say that information will continue to come out about Immaculate Constellation. I think there are smarter people than me that will be able to
I'd like to second that.
analyze things that you've told me about, that people are looking at, like when people look that up on Google and all that stuff. And I also promise that I will tell everything that I can, that you and I know as time goes on. But right now, I would say this. This is what I can say. Michael Schellenberger, who I have never spoken with before, got it right. What he reported is 100% accurate. Look at what he reported, and I am verifying that is 100% accurate, meaning what he reported was accurate. But you got to read what he reported. Seems like a hell of a guy. Like,
Wait,
really, after that came out, just like basically an emoji, like that guy did good, but I've never talked with him. So he's independently doing his thing. I would say people should pay attention to what Michael Schellenberger reported on. And I think we're all in for.
Okay, they have these two, have the 20-page report. So I don't have mentioned it yet, in their hand.
Right.
About
Just
Immaculate Constellation.
Constellation.
Conception.
You want to keep going to that, right?
Immaculate Constellation. Who is the one that came out and decided that these two
Should have it.
would be the best?
He's also gotten videos before everybody,
Yeah, and he does have
so
access.
He's got an inside information guy or people or something going for him.
Yeah, but we make fun of him, but he does have a lot of.
He does.
Is that your phone?
Probably. Shut up.
Retreat.
Shh.
Yeah, we don't want to. Matt's got a new friend, so.
New. He's right.
You should bring your friend on the show.
Yeah, she does not believe in any of this. She laughs as soon as I
like Debbie.
Yeah.
Debbie's like
her and Deb should have a show about this
about
and
why
us.
They'll just make fun of us.
Yeah, they will, and that's okay. I'd watch it.
It's not the first time people have made fun of us for this belief that we have that there's something out there, right?
The skeptic gals.
As you say, get out your knives and dissect. Let's see.
I know part of what accompanied Schellenberger's story was an image that we know pretty well.
Yeah.
What we called the Mosul Orb.
Yeah.
I think he inaccurately attributed that to Arrow.
Right.
What's the story on that?
That was not his fault. Look, so everything in his article was accurate. That was one point that was inaccurate, which he quickly fixed. It said that Arrow had produced that image of the Mosul Orb. So let's be very clear. You and I and he immediately corrected that. Again, he seems like a very straightforward person. So the Mosul Orb is an image that you and I decided to release to the public. We have always said that image is from a FMV video, a full motion video. Full motion video is.
Is that it right there?
Yeah. Yeah, and they show it, it goes zipping across.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, he put it out first, and then he put out the image, and they put out the video. So he was like I said, he's got some kind of connection.
Is this the one where the drone, I think this is the one where the drone filmed it or something?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Military.
Yep. It goes right under the drone between wherever the bottom of
any military designation with all these pulse, whatever.
It is a drone. Yeah.
Is a certain type of reconnaissance technology, and people can look that up, but it's very cool. And in the article, he originally, under the image, I'm really glad he put that image there. It's actually very important that he did. But that image, which was from 2016, so prior to what would have been what we now know as Immaculate Constellation, or what we've heard about. But that image is very important. And we gave a chance to Arrow, you and I gave a chance to Arrow to put out the video.
I'm sorry, Arrow? They're the CIA. It's
Basically.
they were just talking. I listened to another
You're right.
podcast this week, and they said that when Arrow would do not interrogation, an interview with a witness, they wouldn't even record it.
No.
Yeah,
that's what I heard to say. I think they talked about this. Yes, they didn't.
We've called to action. They put out the video, said be transparent, get it out there. Every time we put out something, Arrow comes out with some other thing, that visual imagery, and even before Arrow, when Bray and
I'm sorry, Arrow just needs to go away. I mean, it's just there's no purpose. There's literally, unless they get their act together and they get someone in charge there that's going to be responsive. What I say, disclosure friendly. And they don't need to tell us everything. If there's something that we generally don't need to know,
Arrow's modern blue book. They're modern blue book. They're there to just
they're just the next. alphabet agency that's
Yep.
not doing anything.
That's
you
getting
know, for
paid.
the effort.
That's
And we're like, well, that's what we need. You know,
Yeah.
we always
We don't.
want what's best for us.
We're not
And
gonna-
what they do is treat us like we're 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't need to,
Arrow's
you
not
don't
the
need to know
answer.
anything about
They're
this.
not going to
And,
give it to us.
you know, if you look at their website, it's a bunch of garbage. Or
Yep.
you know,
New guy running it now because the other idiot went
well, yeah,
somewhere.
we talk about that guy,
Ugh.
Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, piece of shit.
What's his name?
How do you
Brian,
really feel?
the other guy, were up there in the first hearing and doing the whole sleight of hand thing. Every time, Brian Moultrie, every time we come out with something, oh, there's some weird, ironic thing that's put out. So Arrow did not put that out. They've never put out an image of that footage. They've never put out the video from that
Put out
footage.
something that looks sort of like it.
So exactly. And so here's the
Yeah.
point. We put that out. And we did that knowingly, but giving a chance to Arrow as a representative of the DoD to put it out, and they never did. So yeah, so people picked up on that real quick, and it was just simply like, it's important to say, independent journalists put that out. Arrow never did, and they could have. And so anyway, he fixed that super quick, and I respect him very much.
The nature of why it fits with his story, even though it doesn't quite fit in the timeline,
Right.
is because the program that he described, that he had sources that
Should have had that.
shared with him, it could have been in there, it should have been in there if it had been in existence at the time that image was captured, but it fits into the parameters of the program that he describes, is that this Immaculate
Constellation.
See, he almost did it too.
Yeah,
uses a different kind of
It's hard.
It
You
is.
want to say the other thing.
Right. It makes you stutter.
UAP type imagery and collates it into one place. Is that right?
Yeah, both passive and active. And so this is public. So if this program is as appears and described to the public, one of the primary missions.
If you think on it, Immaculate Conception, I wonder if there's some weird tie-in with Immaculate Conception, and they kind of went, well, we'll change it to let's change it
Right.
to Constellation.
Maybe.
And if you think about Immaculate Conception and what it is, how it would relate to
The UAP subject.
the
as
UAP
in private.
subject, if you think about it for a second,
There
it's
could be something tying in that.
I mean, it's nothing secret or anything, but it's like how they came up with,
Right.
you know, if you could like kind of figure out what's going on just based on
Well,
that.
if they released a 20-page report, we can make that assessment.
Yeah, and these guys, I guess it makes sense that these guys would get that report,
Right.
you know, because
I believe they
you know
do have
you
it.
need to put it in the hands of somebody that's responsible enough and will actually not turn it right over to the government. We
And if-
know as bad as we talk about these
If I'm a
guys.
whistleblower, and again, kind of like they said, I'm worried about maybe,
Yeah.
disappearing, I'm going to give it to you. So,
Yeah.
at least it'll get out there and maybe.
But I mean, you need to go through your whistleblower, you know, because the person that turned this paperwork over. And again, are they going to kill this guy?
I don't
But they
think
could. He could be arrested. I think the more serious thing that could happen is you could be arrested for turning over top secret
But maybe it's money.
information.
Maybe there's things tied behind all of
Yeah,
this.
well, it's
so-
always money. It's money
Yeah.
for these guys.
Yep,
I
it's
mean,
defense
this is a big
programs.
This is a big story.
Contractors, money. That's all money. It
But-
says everything about money.
But is this going to be one of those things where when they're going to drop the 20 pages and we're going to look at it and go, oh. How many
Yeah.
times? Like even with Crushed,
Yep.
it was the best thing ever.
Right.
You know, we're going to get this, even with Arrow in the beginning. Yeah, now we're going to get disclosure.
What would Stephen Greer do?
What would Stephen Greer do? How could this make him money?
Is this on that
Yeah.
gigabytes of that tetrabytes or
Tenor,
What do you say? Is
Yeah,
that on
it's
here?
another thing for his thing because
Come
I
on.
know it for a fact.
Greer, talk to us. Tell us what's going on here.
Of this program would be to acquire both actively and passively imagery from all sensor platforms in all domain. So we're talking about satellites to underwater sensors to land-based sensors to aerial sensors to space sensors, right? Basically capturing UAP, but I'm going to caveat that. UAP that is known to be not from any technologically advanced nation on Earth that is known to us at this time, which people call NHI, non-human intelligence. And the program was to acquire imagery of how other nations may have reverse engineered from NHI technology human technology. The program had zero to do as far as data collection, no mention of legacy U.S. or even current U.S. programs of any reverse engineering.
Yeah, allegedly this document goes over ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles. That's us. You've heard of that?
Yeah, that's the thing that
Did
what's his name? The guy I just mentioned talks about all
Well,
the time.
you have to remember Immaculate Constellation, and I don't know if they're going to mention. Do they mention this on this show? Well, we'll mention it anyway. Is that this? They Googled it, and somebody
they do mention this.
looked at the amount of searches there were for Immaculate Constellation. It spiked right after the Grush skiff.
Oh,
So it was something that Grush had said to somebody who walked out of that skiff, who went to their computer and they immediately Googled it to see what it was. Of course, they found nothing. There was nothing yet.
Right.
But
they noticed that it did get searched.
But there was
After
a
what
spike
Grush
in
said.
it search.
Wow.
It wouldn't be a common thing. Immaculate Constellation wouldn't be a term somebody would typically do. So it was kind of weird. So Grush
Conception, yeah. But not
Grush goes
Constellation.
in the skiff.
Wow.
And right after the skiff, it's because there's all these, UFO sleuths that go out there and look at stuff. And that was a really good find. So if Grush said something in the skiff, and it's weird how they figured out that had to be something that he talked about.
Wow.
Now you see something new for you.
I didn't know that. That's correct.
Full stop. That's how I understand it right now. If I'm wrong,
You heard it here first.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Let's say there's a program that broad across all the different platforms that gather information from space, from in the sky, drones, things of that sort. That's a lot of different agencies, different departments, things of that sort. A lot of people would be involved. So this program, as described by Schellenberger in his article and what you've shared with me, is a USAP, an
unacknowledged
special access program. For something that broad, wouldn't you need something acknowledged? At least it goes into, with that many people, it's not a silo. It's not a restricted program. There's a lot of people that have to know that exist.
Okay, if it's unacknowledged, there can be no... How can you oversee the funding for this?
Right. I don't think you can.
What happens with the government, people listen to this, I'm sure I've heard a million times. You pay your taxes, right? We all do.
Right.
And if you don't say it here. It goes to the government, and the government gives it goes into a program, like a black program.
Right.
The black program says it's being used for the F-22, let's say. How come the F-22s cost $1 billion each? Well, because it really didn't go to the F-22.
Right, it went somewhere else.
It went to this other program.
Funneled.
Which we can oversee the F-22, but there's no there's no oversight. Why is it costing that much?
They can't. They're not overseeing it, so they can't answer that question.
So it goes to the Lockheed or Raytheon.
Yep.
And we'll mention, your friend Mike Turner.
My buddy. He messed your computer up.
I know. I think he did something to my internet.
Might want to
because I mentioned it on X this week about how Wright Patterson is in Ohio, is in Mike Turner's district
area. Yep.
And all of a sudden, then you get the accounting of Mike Turner's accounts.
Boy.
And he makes $200K a year when everybody's got $1 million coming in. Everywhere.
Space for
so Raytheon or whoever,
defense contracts,
Lockheed gives him money. So that what did he do this week? He wants to postpone the November 13th.
Of course he does.
He specifically, along with one of his other cronies,
that's his job.
Wants to postpone, if not have. I don't want to say that because they didn't say that, but postpone the hearing.
That's right.
Of which Immaculate Constellation. Now, I don't know if the whistleblower is specifically going to come out on this, which would be fucking awesome.
That'd be great, right?
We would finally have that. Yeah, I've seen it, guy. I've had my hand on it.
Yep.
I've been to the crash retrieval program.
Now that's disclosure.
That's disclosure.
D.
I've seen it.
Yep.
But we've also got that guy, David Grush, who hasn't said he's really not a whistleblower because he hasn't. You say he hasn't seen everything firsthand, but other people are like, yeah, he is.
Right.
he basically has seen enough evidence that he probably normally wouldn't turn over.
Yeah.
So he is kind of a whistleblower.
Yeah. Capital D.
Oddly, no. And that's what's interesting. So you can have a USAP, unacknowledged special access program, that acquires data and analyzes it from a broad spectrum, from Air Force to Navy to Army to satellite to underwater to drones. If there are archives of UAP information, you would then collate that, analyze it, focus it, reduce it, get it down, and then get that into the eyes of people in the USAP, in the unacknowledged
So
special program.
take the cream off the top. That's what goes into the USAP.
It's possible, but there was more going on in that USAP allegedly than just total reconnaissance, right? There was material transfer implications, if I recall. There were things like that. So what I'm saying is, let the world get out their knives and dissect. I am not going to sit here and spill any beans.
So a couple of points that I would raise, questions. There's a whistleblower who seems to be a primary source in this. I don't know if that person has been in contact with Schellenberger. I don't know if that person.
Schellenberger said that he had been in physical contact.
So it boils down to one person. Is there more than that?
No, it's not one person. If you had a USAP, there would obviously be a number of people. I would imagine, and I think it has been said publicly, that people can have accidental exposure to a USAP. So I would imagine from there that you're saying, I'm not, that there is a whistleblower. Okay, that may be true. There may be publicly.
One of the things that's happening also is that people that are exposed and actually been in contact to these craft is that they're actually becoming ill from being in contact with the craft. And then what's happening is then they go into, they get sick, and then they're evaluated by the doctor, but they're in the Department of Defense, so they're in the government program. So it basically becomes, what's happened? How did you get sick? And they would divulge about how they would get sick
Because they came in contact.
and because they became in contact with these. I don't know if it's all the craft or if it's certain.
Is that what he
craft.
means by accidentally exposed?
No,
to
he's
USAP?
talking about they were. That just kind of reminded me.
Okay.
They were actually exposed to the program,
Right.
the unacknowledged special USAP,
Okay.
unacknowledged special access program.
Right.
Because different people are, there's people that are in these things that are kind of like, I'm not going to tell the public. They don't need
No.
I'm not really even interested until they always assume that everybody wants to talk about this stuff.
Right.
There's people in the government that are involved in these things. Are like, I don't really feel the need to even talk about this.
Yep.
It was something I did,
Yep.
and I was on this program,
Yep.
and I helped.
Take it to the grave with them.
And it's kind of like now if you got sick and the government tried to blow you off, now that's where it would be a problem.
Yeah.
That's where
Yep.
people are like, well, I'm going to talk about this because now they're not paying my bills. I'm disabled
Yep.
because it's that bad. Some
Yep.
of them are pretty sick.
Yeah, there's a couple.
And that should be,
common
that's something that should be brought, into the
fault.
forefront of this. The people are getting sick from doing this. And if that's what it takes, and I don't know if that's something I just heard. So is it even real?
Right. Right. Yeah.
But you assume you just go up, you and I are like, oh, spaceships, flying saucers going to land in our front yard. Man, we're running out and looking at that.
And then I get like Cash Landrum. Remember Cash
Yeah.
Landrum and the mom and stuff.
Well, that was
exposed. But we don't know if that was an actual.
Cash Landrum thing was actual. That was probably
Was that our tech or
AR, alien reproduction. That's probably,
reproduction?
yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
What I heard about Cash Landrum is that was a nuclear powered ARV
Oh, really?
that they developed, and it was had rivets and
Yep.
it wasn't smooth.
Big diamond with 20 freaking helicopters
But they
around
had
it.
they had the dual rotor helicopters,
Yep.
like a dozen of them. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. But it was dropping
It was
radioactive
bullshit. Yep.
material on
Fucked
the
up the car. Yep.
So both of them got sick.
Yeah.
One of them got paid off, even I think, by the government.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but again, that went nowhere. It's a great
Right.
story.
Yep.
But once we have Rick Doty on here, I think he knows all.
Yeah, we need to get him on here.
Yeah, come
That's
on,
a
Rick.
calling to you,
Come
buddy.
on, Rick.
Come
You
on.
do it. Put us over the top.
Yeah, come on.
We're not going to have a room big enough to do. We're going to have to put it on the big screen.
Can we go in the
And
backyard?
We're going to have to go in the big. Yeah, we're going to have to go in the backyard. All the people that are going to in our group that are going to want to be involved.
That's right.
With Rick Doty.
Yes. Let's do it.
Stated that there is a human being, a person. No, I'm not saying male, not saying female, not saying what department, not saying inside government, not saying contractor. Sure, we can all deduce that from what was reported by Michael Schellenberger. No problem. You're asking me directly, are there more people that may be able to back up that information? I am telling you directly, and I don't need to tell you that, but I am telling you directly, that yes, there are. But that is not for you or me to talk about, right? So it's just like, okay, you've got one person that is public, that obviously has talked with Schellenberger, a person, and that is true information. That is accurate information. Now, we will find out. Is this program real? Are there other people involved? Now, I will tell you from my experience, there was knowledge of this program way beyond a whistleblower who ended up going through a very unique process to get that information out, for sure. It's not a foreign topic to you and me.
Are you aware of how much information about this program has been shared with members of Congress? For example, Schellenberger's article has obviously been read on Capitol Hill by a lot of these people, especially the names that we mentioned who are interested in this subject. But are you aware of additional information that has been shared directly with members of Congress and or senior staff members?
Yes. I think it is factually and important for me to say that I am directly aware of the totality of this report and information being in person given to certain members. I'm not saying of Congress or Senate, certain members, and that I was present.
Oh, you're present?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, so the indictments will be delivered to your house.
There's nothing I did wrong. There's nothing I did wrong.
I didn't do it.
I don't know if we're going to leave this in the footage, but you're asking me, am I aware of that statement? I saw that statement. Michael Schellenberger said that members of Congress are made aware. That is 100% true, and I can testify to it under oath in the court of law because I was fucking there.
So according to Michael's article, there is a central whistleblower. According to you, there are more than one source of this information.
Yes.
According to the two of you, information has been shared with members of Congress.
Yes.
And it appears for now that this is real, that it's real.
For now. For now.
For now.
Yeah.
And do you have a sense of whether the people on the Hill who've seen this information are motivated or highly interested? Are there?
That's
guest starring.
That's Max.
That's not. Yeah.
That's not Pretzel, our new acquisition. We're fostering Sorry, everybody, but we're going to have to explain. They're fostering a 4-month-old German Shepherd, which we're going to take to an event today to try to pawn off on some unsuspecting family. But, this
is a great
So Debbie left. The reason the dogs are barking is that Debbie left because she had to take a fecal.
She's here. You're calling her out. She's here.
A fecal sample.
She's in the back of the ship, making sure that
the neighbors were driving up, so of course the dog has to bark.
That's Max saying hi. He's like, I'm here.
Yeah, wait till you get Debbie and I's episode.
He's really the star of the show. I'm just going to say that.
Max, yeah. We get comments on the Max one.
I love Max.
Asking tough questions?
I decline to comment.
Let me ask you this. So let's say there's a document that has been referenced in some reports.
Michael Schellenberger has said there's a 20-something page document.
Let's say there's a document. I believe that it includes 3 interesting letters, A, R, B. So that, for me, as a longtime UFO guy, raises red flags. ARV, alien replication vehicle, something like that. Supposedly a vehicle that we have built based on recovered alien technology. That's been raised in some fairly questionable corners of ufology over the years. And I can never tell whether that's
Right
It
here.
all goes back to
whether
Greer.
it's a red flag, whether it's
Telling you guys, it all goes
Come on,
back.
Greer's not questionable. What are you talking about?
Right.
Let's be honest with our
It all
audience.
goes back to Greer.
You have been exposed to the entirety of the document. Is that correct?
All right. Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with that said, you have been exposed to the entirety of the report, as they're calling it, right? From an individual.
How many
Okay,
times are we
great.
going to say that? Yes.
So, from that point,
He's
let's
got
move
it.
forward on
Behind
two
him.
things.
Is it sitting there on the table?
Yeah, I think it's sitting on the table.
Just give us a page.
From
Right.
the very get-go,
It's right under there.
we have been in the know
He's like, how
that we
freaking
have
dare
been
you say
trying
that?
to exploit derivative technologies of UAP. Is that factual from where you're sitting?
Yeah.
Okay. We have
Look at
also
his
heard
fancy little
that we have
phone
not
cover. It's all
made
gold.
extreme progress, but that could be true, not true,
See his
correct?
gold phone cover right
Do you
there.
believe those two
Right there,
statements to be
right?
true?
Yeah.
Relatively. Yeah.
Relatively?
Yeah.
Explain
I
that.
don't know how much progress we made.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't know. But those two things we're sure have happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I want you to tell me why you are alarmed by the term ARV, because I'm alarmed by it too, but tell me
Because of the source where it came from.
where did the source come from?
There's some nope, not gonna tell you yet. Some speculation. The Tic Tac
Was
could
ARV?
possibly be an ARV.
Yeah.
You know.
Again, everything leads back to Greer. I know people don't. Didn't he say that too? That the Tic Tac was an...
I don't know if did he say that?
I'm going to go back to the footage that we had before. I'm pretty sure he said that.
That we
Before
talked
anybody
about.
that I knew
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
It all goes back to Greer.
I think if you look closely, they weren't able to blow up the Tic Tac, like really blow it up.
Right.
You would see the little Skunkworks logo from Lockheed.
I think I heard that before. You're right. I think I heard that before.
I think we've seen that on Facebook where somebody did that.
Where was the saucer at that had the little American flag that was flipped around? What was that? Was that?
Oh, that was, I don't know which event that was, but I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, yeah.
Some UFO people who are not entirely trustworthy.
Were the first persons ever to mention that term?
First persons I ever heard.
Greer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what he's talking about? Who's he
Is
talking
he saying
about?
Greer is
I think-
untrustworthy? You gotta be kidding me.
Sorry, I had to laugh.
You're literally kidding me. My hero,
right.
Stephen Greer. Is it Stephen Greer?
It all goes back to Greer. It all goes back to Stephen Greer. I'm telling you.
CE5.
Yes, sir.
You can do an entire documentary, and at the end of it, and for
Honestly, he's one of my
$22.95,
favorite. He is one of my favorite.
He is cool.
Yeah.
He is cool, but he's a
Come on, Steve. Come on the show.
He's a charlatan.
No, don't listen to him.
He's
Come on the
selling
show.
CE5.
Don't listen to him. Shut him
You
down.
watch that entire.
Come on the show and
you watch
quiet
that
this man
entire.
up.
What is it? Whatever his documentary was.
What's it called?
Necessary
Secrets.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
People are like, don't you know what it is? It's blah blah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
we're gonna. How is my
Is
phone
that your
still
phone?
doing that? I turned it down.
It's your new friend. Where are you?
It probably is. Okay.
That's where we're at a point as journalists where we need to reverse engineer some of these terminologies. Now, it's possible that terminologies have been used in public spheres and then adopted by military spheres.
Yeah, I grant that.
Or even horrible people get good information from time to time is also possible, right?
Right.
Okay, so I don't know where we're going with this, but my point is, you and I both have red flags based on the totality of the document that we have both consumed, correct?
Let's talk about that a little bit because we have we've received indications from people that we know and we trust who suggested there is risk in having this information. And I think Schellenberger's probably had the same thing. Is that risk real? And what is the risk? What's the nature of it? And now that it's out, how can it possibly, how can anyone hope to quash the story?
Okay, I need to crack a beer. Because we're right now. You have now brought up
drama.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. This is where the music needs to stop.
I'm not cutting this out of the episode. I'm just being honest. Like, let's just take.
Well, that's the difference right there. He's drinking beer and he's drinking water. You know,
I'm drinking
not
water.
that I'm anti-alcohol, but I can really see where, you know, the differentiation is here, because you can just see where George is like, I think I'm just gonna put my glass. Listen, that could be vodka.
That could be vodka. You never. I don't think George is a drink that much.
They need another table there.
Right. George playing dumb right now.
It's an interview. I'm a journalist trying to get information out of somebody who's been very reluctant to cough up this.
I feel like I'm being grilled by the FBI, and it's George Knapp. I don't really understand what's going on. No, just kidding. Okay, so let me just pour my beautiful Coors Light.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
product placement.
Wow.
I'll spare no expense.
That sounds like a commercial. That's a commercial.
You needed to turn the can around so
You
we
just
could
threw the
see it.
can somewhere.
Oh, you just threw it.
If we're gonna get into this,
Get it out of the
They're in a
shower.
hotel room. Looks like a bordello.
Right?
you are asking me.
Look at that paper. Look at that wallpaper.
But I have been.
Is that velvety? Like when you
That's
touch
that
it? Is
velvet.
it-
Yeah.
This is our insurance policy right here.
Okay.
Is there risk in mentioning the name of that program?
Immaculate.
Is there risk in reporting about it? Is there risk in?
Is there a risk
even
of us
knowing
putting it on and
information?
putting this in our title?
Uh-oh.
Is there
gonna-
risk
See?
in,
Oh,
His
who
phone
was
went
that?
His phone went
in
off.
admitting that you know more that has not been made public yet?
Uh-oh.
So
Watch it. Careful. Careful.
I think we just talk frankly, and then we go from there.
Maybe not.
No, I think I think we do.
Why
It's
don't
all-
we just? We
it's
got.
all
They've
dramatic.
got the 20 pages. You're basically denying us. Did the guy turn it over and just basically say that, you know, I'll give it to you, but you can't talk about it until the Senate hearings? Or if you know it and
Oh,
you have the
yeah.
document and you guys are the heroes,
Maybe there's
tell us about it. Why can't you
there's
just
some
talk
kind of
about it?
stipulations here. Yeah.
That they made, and they're honoring it, and that's what they're
'Cause
talking about.
if I'm worried about getting him basically, neutralized over this, I'm going to put it out there. So now everybody
Well, that's
knows.
their insurance policy. You better make sure the guy that gave it to you has an
insurance policy.
too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but like I said, the person I've been talking to and that was in intelligence said that they just
It
don't.
don't matter.
It's like the Michael Herrera thing.
Yeah.
Yep. He's called bullshit on that deal.
Yep.
He said that I had helicopters looking for us and
Yeah,
crap. He goes,
that's
they
not-
would not do that. They would
No.
not do the assets.
Nope.
And then, and
They're not spending.
another thing is they had the guns that they said that they had were that they had clips.
Right.
And he said the guns that they described that they were carrying
Right.
were they used the chain ammunition.
Ammunition. Right.
So the ammunition and the gun didn't match. So the whole Herrera thing's garbage. So I always get excited about it because there it is human transport. What is it? Human trafficking.
Trafficking. Yep.
They have these little
Yep.
bins with small children in it.
Yeah. In the
And
middle
it
of the
came into
jungle.
that because that's what you use
Yep.
to bring things to the forefront. Human trafficking.
Yeah.
And this is such a big deal, and it's kind of like where are they going? They're trafficked from one. I guess they use it for prostitution.
I thought they were in a.
Are they using it for
planetary.
slave labor in
Yeah.
the Arab Emirates?
Right.
Where are these people going
I don't know.
that they're taking? What are they using? Are they using for experimentation?
Yeah.
Eating.
They're eating.
No, it's for the reptilians.
Barbecue. The reptilians.
Barbecue for reptilians.
The bushes. All the bushes are reptilians.
The bushes.
You ever see the
royal family?
weird eyes? Yeah.
The
side
royal
winking.
family. I had a thing where it had all the royal family.
Oh, it's reptilian.
You see that picture on Facebook? And all the lizard people.
They showed Bush eyes blink sideways.
Dude, I had
Stop.
I don't know if you saw it. I had so much response to that one photo. More response than I had to any other
Anything.
photo that I've ever had. People are like, "Oh my God, it's true!
Right.
The royals are reptilians."
I knew it.
We're gonna cover every aspect on this one.
Anything. Crop
You
circles?
record
No, we'll get
this,
to that.
and then we go from there. So
Have you had direct, put it this way, have you had direct communications with people in the intelligence world whom you trust, who told you, hey, this is red hot, this is really risky, this is dangerous?
Yeah. I've been notified of very specific and direct and detailed threats against my life, as well as against anybody who may have information, assets, or contact with additional whistleblowers or individuals who are aware of this program. So much so that I have
So who is that that's threatening you? I mean, they're okay. So if somebody threatens you, you just get a random phone call, and they say, I'm going to kill you,
Right.
Matt,
For coming
if
out
you
with
talk
this.
about all the things that he just described.
Right.
And I'm going to kill you, Matt. And are you going to take that as a vow, or is that just somebody contacting? So why doesn't he divulge? Why can't he divulge where the threat came from?
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you be a whistleblower?
Right.
You're
Right.
just talking about this document. Why can't you say, other than the fact that you're trying to create this drama so
Right.
that, you guys get more viewership?
If the whistleblowing, if the information is real, then the guy is real, then put him out there.
Yeah.
Let him be exposed.
So that's
something
kind of
does
thing
happen, that would
I don't really question. I get it, why maybe. But it's like, okay, who was it?
Yeah.
Who is, if it's a valid threat and you're calling the cops?
Yeah.
Well, did
That's
you
pretty
get
valid.
caller ID? Was it from Langley, Virginia, Alexandria? I don't know what, you know what I mean?
Right.
Vallejo, Matt.
My job. Is it for my job? My job call.
Superheroes garbage, man.
Yeah.
taking action.
Sorry, recycle, man.
Yes. No, garbage is below me.
Law enforcement to make sure that they're aware. And I did not put a lot of stock in it. And then I called 4 different people to advise me. And to my shock and awe, with actual knowledge of this program prior to it being announced, was told for me to take it 100% deadly seriously. And so let's really unpack that for 1 second. Give me a second to just say something. That program was outed by an independent journalist who has nothing to do with me. I've never talked to the guy prior to the release, and I actually haven't talked to him yet on the phone. It was done legally and lawfully, which people will understand, hopefully, on November 13th. I know for a fact that if you had talked about that program prior, that it would ping intelligence services. It is a real USAP from what I understand. And the last point to this is, I believe that people need to know that the cover-up of this, they don't color within the lines, and that people's lives are at risk. And right now, my job that you taught me is to protect sources and witnesses, even if they don't protect themselves. And you and I are doing that, and we will continue to do it.
Do you have in place what you might call a dead switch, a system whereby...
Okay, at this point, we're going to kind of wrap it up.
Okay.
I think we've gotten all we're going to get out of, I urge everyone to listen to Weaponized episode 60. We crucified it as best we could.
Not really. We were,
but it's I don't know. It's an interesting concept. I mean, they're just now at this point they're going to go over how they got a dead man switch or whatever.
We're going to see what November 13th shift that shows up.
Yeah, if they're actually going to postpone that. When is it actually going to happen?
Right.
Is the world going to blow up on November 5th?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. We won't talk about
politics.
We won't talk about politics. All right. Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Pro Podcast. We welcome questions, comments, or request to alienprobepodcast@gmail.com. Listen to us on Instagram, and we're on every podcast platforms. We're also on Rumble, YouTube, X.
Spotify.
Check us out on X. We want guests if you want to come on. Again, alienprobepodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. You can message me. We'd love to have you on here. We can do it anonymously. We've had people come on and they want to talk about their experience and or just a subject, and they don't want people to know, although that happens less and less all the time. They don't want people to know that they're interested in the subject and want to talk about what they know, and they want to talk about with us about what we know.
Tell your friends and family.
Tell your friends and family.
Well,
I mean, this is more for we have a circle of people that, we kind of do that for us. But anybody watching and listening, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And we will see you next time. And thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Because if I don't thank Matt, he'll tell me, and then I'll have to patch it in later.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Woohoo. It's still going?